Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and French President Emmanuel Macron met in Paris on Tuesday to address the escalating conflict in Ukraine, now in its fourth year, since Russia's full-scale invasion began in February 2022. The briefing came at a critical juncture, with Ukraine facing relentless Russian attacks on civilian infrastructure and energy systems, while seeking international support through a growing coalition of the willing to secure a ceasefire and ensure long-term stability. The leaders discussed the recent unblocking of American aid, intelligence sharing, and a Franco-British plan within the coalition of the willing to bolster Ukraine's military and deter future Russian aggression. Zelensky highlighted the significance of US assistance, which had been stalled until President Trump intervened, unlocking vital resources for Ukraine's defense and strengthening the resolve of the coalition.
And I wouldn't like to say what percentage of it we need it today. Any percentage is important when you are fighting for your independence from the Russian aggressor. And the second thing is the exchange of intelligence, which we need from the point of view of protecting our primarily civilian population from attacks on energy and civilian infrastructure.
He expressed optimism that this aid, backed by the coalition of the willing, could pave the way for peace.
President Trump has done it, unblocked it. We are grateful to the American side for this. The next steps will have to lead to a ceasefire. We have talked about this enough today. Let's hope and believe that America will have enough strength to force Putin to an unconditional ceasefire.
Macron, a staunch supporter of Ukraine since the war's onset, condemned Russia's persistent strikes and praised Zelensky's ceasefire proposal, which Russia has yet to accept, as the coalition of the willing rallies to increase pressure on Moscow.
Far from proving that it really wants peace, Russia continues, day after day, to strike intensively Ukrainian territory, civilian targets included. We condemn these strikes, and they must absolutely stop.
Looking beyond immediate needs, Macron outlined potential peacekeeping measures supported by the coalition of the willing, emphasizing the Ukrainian army's role as Europe's frontline defense.
What is the potential peacekeeping, monitoring, or surveillance mechanism? We will talk about that tomorrow. It's not up to us to preempt it. It's up to us to provide reassurance and perhaps a framework and support if the choice made by Ukraine are the United Nations. But that's in the context of any peacekeeping operations and what happens on the front line. Then, in order to guarantee security, which is not the same thing as keeping the peace, in order to guarantee security, which is basically to say that if tomorrow Russia, as it has done every time, if I may remind you, were to resume an operation in 3 years, in 5 years, what would happen?
Macron also detailed a Franco-British initiative within the coalition of the willing to deploy European forces in a non-combat role to deter Russia and support Ukraine logistically.
But for us, it would be neither for us to be on the front line, nor to be engaged on day one against the Russian forces, but to be forces that dissuade the Russians from attacking again. And by holding important towns, strategic bases, mark the clear support from several European governments and allies. Secondly, they may have logistical support or training on Ukrainian soil.
The meeting underscored a unified European stance against Russian aggression, with both leaders calling for sustained international pressure on Moscow through the coalition of the willing to end the war. As Ukraine braces for another challenging spring, the focus remains on balancing immediate humanitarian relief with a robust strategy to secure lasting peace.